in youth hockey, and probably the same with you, Peter, the ice is available from 6 p.m. until 10:30 or 10:45, right? And everybody's got to get their shot at it. Well, they think that the older kids should skate late. They should skate at 9:45 or 10 to 11:45. So now you got Bantam kids who need 8 or 9 hours of sleep every night, and and we're keeping them up till midnight or 1:30 in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning. And they got to get home. They got to get in bed. Well, guess who goes to school first in the morning? The older kids. The younger kids go later. So these kids are running on 5 hours of sleep, and then they want to run you 7 days a week.
Yeah, you see that. You know where you see that here, Hal, is at the high school level. There's a lot of high schools where the kids are practicing at 5 and 6 a.m.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So by after lunch, right, that kid they're done. They're cooked because first off, they're tired. Now their bellies are full. And they're very, very unproductive the rest of the day. And then they go home, and probably the first thing they do is go take a nap. They go lay down, and then they get up, and they may or may not have a chance to get something to eat, do a little homework.
Yep.
Then go to that late practice. Then they get home and they say, "Oh man, I got to finish this assignment." So now they're up until midnight.
Yep.
Back up for the 5 or 6 a.m. high school practice, rinse and repeat. And why aren't they any good? Why isn't there any intensity? Like, what's going on? Well, like you said, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy in that way.
My point here is, that. What can you do about it? Like, we're trying to influence it. We're sort of complaining about it. But
you're stuck, Wally. You're stuck because who are you going to put on at 9 o'clock at night?
Oh, I know, scheduling.
Right? I mean, that's the hard part, right? You're stuck unless, again, and here's the other part. But parents, again, the way they are, you and associations too, you'll never get them to do this. Maybe we shouldn't play Saturday. Maybe Saturday should be a practice, and then we'll play Sunday. Let's practice Saturday where we can get ice, because we can get game ice on the weekend, anywhere from 9 in the morning till 6 at night. We can get that. We got it all day. Why don't we just practice?
I want to give you two things that to me are productive ways of dealing with that. Number one is the awareness of it and appreciating the word balance. Now, whether they're going to do anything about it or not is up to whoever does the planning and scheduling. But parents have to realize, even in their own lives, we've got to be balanced. Family first, time to eat, time to sleep, so your body's ready to go. So there's an education piece that we lose sight of because of the game and the score. It overrides the purpose of what we're doing the sport for. So there's that education about purposeful practice and what it means. And right now, more is better, when in fact it's worse. And it's not necessarily more of the right thing. So I'll give you a perfect example, and I threw this at Tom and all the coaches in our association. There's a new outlaw league that has 3 ice times a week. Our group has 2 ice times a week, but they have a dry land session once a week. And this year, they're going to alternate a dry land training session, which is excellent. The next week, they're going to do a shooting session in a shooting facility, which is excellent. So I didn't propose, I just brought it up with Tom. 2 teams combine ice at the same age level, run a practice, half ice. You're an expert coach. You can get reps. You can do tactical, strategical things, and you can finish the second half of the practice competing. And we have a game up here called Perns 3-on-3, half ice games. There's like 9 against 9 on one side, 9 against 9 on the other, keeping score, attacking, trying to break it out past to the next in line. And it works. It's extra ice time. And I like ice time because it's concrete. So at least we've had the conversation about it. But even in addition to this, players are still taking extra ice time at 7 in the morning on their own. So they come to the practices pretty exhausted, not really productive, not really there mentally. And they're doing it. And I'm amazed that they're doing it as well as they're doing it. So, hell, I'm just questioning the capacity of the young people today.
I agree.
Uh,
I mean, we've got three kids that go to a hockey academy and they skate for an hour and a half at lunch every day. And then they're out of school at 3:15 or 3:30. And then they go home and do what they do. And then they come to practice. And, if the regular practice is only 9 minutes of meaningful ice time, I guess that's not a problem.
oh,
In my practices, it's a problem because they arrive not only tired, but probably dehydrated, especially in the winter. And they run out of gas. And one of the things that I have done the last several years is, see, our high schools have the ice from 3:30 till 6 in most of the communities around in the Twin Cities. So no youth teams around there. And our high school coach decided to run 6 a.m. practices twice a week for different age groups. So now we got kids getting up at 5 in the morning or 4:45 to get to practice, and then they go right to school from there, and then they show up at practice again in the evening. It's like, it's too much. So I've always thought at the U14, is that Bantams, 5 days a week's enough. And I always want them to be home for dinner one night a week with no hockey afterwards. So they can get some sleep, they can catch up on their homework, or catch up on their video games or whatever. Just something away from the rink. But it's hard. And then we go to these weekends, and we'll go to a tournament weekend and play 4 or 5 games in 3 days. And but I think days off, I'll swap out with other teams and say, look, we need a day off. You want this ice time? Give us some ice time. You have some in another place. So, but when you've got a rink and a half, and we have 400 kids playing hockey, not including the high schools. Balance is hard to achieve for sure.
well, I'm just going to make one point. I proposed 2 teams having one ice time, and I've seen it work with U18 boys elite hockey, AA.
Mm-hmm.
But the coaches had to really work together at, I got half ice, what am I going to do?
You're not proposing we lose one of our full ice for a half ice, I hope.
You're not giving up what you've got already. If you
Okay,
want an
that's-
extra ice time,
No, I agree with that. I wouldn't want
if
to
you
give
want
up
an
a full
extra
ice.
ice time. But quite frankly, I'd prefer the half ice. I can do a whole ice, but myself, because the nature of my coaching is teaching. And if you're going to work on breakout, you're going to work on forecheck, you're going to work on special teams and face-off plays, and you want to teach, there's an opportunity in that halftime to do that. And some teams have overlapping ice times. So you can have 30
Yeah.
minutes to yourself, and then
Yeah. Yeah, we
So
do that sometimes.
there's ways of maximizing ice utilization, but some coaches they have their way and they do a good job at their way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, consider different ways.
Right.
And in the end, I think the coaches are doing a hell of a job out here. And we're providing a sense of direction for the association and the parents to appreciate everything we're talking about. And just getting them on the same page to do things the right way. That's all we want. Best for their health, best for their development. And I think we're on the right track out here now. But here we talk about this every week, and we're just hoping that the word gets spread so that people experiment, do things differently, at least try it, and see what works for them. And in the end, they're gonna